You're going to love my crispy shallot green beans recipe. It is so delicious and healthy. I'm Justin from Cooking with Coit. I specialize in clean comfort cooking. And remember, if you love this video, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let's get started. Let's first go over all the ingredients you need to make this recipe. Green beans, shallot, garlic, olive oil, and salt and pepper. All right, guys, so the first thing we need to do is to thinly slice our shallot. So let's start by cutting the end off the shallot just like this. With some shallots, there's actually a couple pieces inside like that. So it's completely up to you whether you want to use like the whole shallot, which would be, I guess, like 2 of these inside. It really completely depends on, number 1, how much you love shallot, and number 2, how much green beans you're going to be using in this recipe. My recipe calls for 1 pound of green beans. I love shallot, so I'm actually going to use both. I think more the better. It's got such great flavor. So yeah, I'm gonna thinly slice both pieces. And of course, don't forget to peel all of the skin off the shallot, as well as this sort of like top layer. You know, see how this top layer here is a little bit kind of like a little weathered? I'm going to cut that layer off first, just like you would an onion. Next up, I want you guys to grab out a large mixing bowl and then grab your green beans and just toss your green beans into the bowl. Now, one special note here about the type of green beans that I'm using. These look like everyday green beans, and you can absolutely use everyday green beans, but I have a very specific preference here. I really like the French green beans. I am nervous to pronounce the name in French because I don't speak French, and I know I'm gonna get made fun of for this, but I believe the French name for these is haricot vert. Haricot vert. Now, if there's any French speakers in the comments below, please let me know how badly I just butchered that and correct me so that everybody knows what is the right way to say it. But the difference between French green beans and a regular green bean is that the French green beans tend to be a little thinner, and that's really a very good thing for this recipe because I like to cook my green beans hot and fast. And so the more thinner that they are, the better, because they're gonna come out even crispier, and they're not gonna like get kind of soggy and overcooked like normal thick ones will. So if you can find French green beans, definitely use those, they're way better. Next, we're gonna take our shallots that we've thinly sliced already and just toss them right on top of the green beans. And guys, just a reminder, all of the recipes that you see on my YouTube channel are all on my website. The full instructions and ingredient amounts are there, so just check the description below the video for that link. Next, we're gonna add our garlic onto the green beans and the shallots. You've got a couple different options as to how you wanna do that. You can mince the garlic, that's totally a fine way, but my preference actually is to grate the garlic. So I grab out my microplane and I grab out 2 cloves of garlic and just start giving these a grate. And I'll show you why I love this microplane so much. What it does is, instead of just chopping up the garlic into really small pieces, it literally emulsifies it and gets all of that great sort of garlic juices and the essence of the garlic out. And that creates like a little bit of a sauce. Let me show you on the back side here. And see, look how beautiful that garlic is there. So then I just slide it right off the microplane and toss it right in. The difference between doing it this way and mincing is like unbelievably big flavor difference. So if you microplane your garlic, you're gonna have so much better flavor, and I highly, highly suggest you do it this way. So now I'm gonna grate my 2nd clove of garlic. And right when you get to the end of the garlic piece, you just have to be careful not to microplane the tip of your finger off. So don't get too greedy, just stop when you got a little bit left of the piece of garlic. And you don't have to throw that piece out, you can just toss it into the green beans so you're not wasting anything at all. So that's about as thin as I can get it. Those pieces there, so I'm just gonna toss those in. And then of course, you can give it a little tap and get all of that great garlic out from the bottom. And guys, one thing that I forgot to mention from earlier, my green beans had already been pre-washed. They were already washed in the bag, so don't think I just dump them in there. I always wash my veggies before I cook them. Well, that's not actually true. I guess there are some veggies that I don't wash, like I don't wash my mushrooms, which you've probably seen in some of my other videos. That's kind of the only veggie I don't wash. I wash all my other veggies, so anyway. Now we're gonna add a little bit of oil into our mixing bowl. You can use avocado oil, olive oil, really whatever vegetable oil you want, totally use that. It's 1 tablespoon is the measurement. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna toss it on just like this. And then what I like to do is give it a quick toss at this point. And we're just trying to get all of that olive oil all over the shallot and the garlic and these green beans. So I just want everything to be well combined. So that's looking really good. And as you guys can see, well, hopefully you can see really beautiful garlic that's coating these green beans already. Now, if you mince the garlic, that's not gonna happen, so that's why I really love to grate it. Okay, so now we're gonna add our salt and pepper. My recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna add a little bit extra. And 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And now we're just gonna give this a big quick toss again. You guys might be wondering, why didn't I just add the salt and pepper on my last step before I added the olive oil? Well, the reason is I need that olive oil to act as a binder between the green beans and the salt and pepper. So next, you guys need to grab out a large pan, just like I have here. Put your heat over medium high. And again, like I told you before, I really like to cook these green beans hot and fast, so that's why I'm putting the temperature where I am. Next, just toss your beans into the pan and make sure that you don't leave any of those great garlic pieces. Well, you won't have garlic pieces in there because it's already been grated, but any of those shallot pieces, make sure you get all of that out of the bowl. We don't want to waste that. If you feel like the beans are starting to overcrowd the pan, you could totally do them in 2 batches if you want. I'm feeling a little lazy today, so I'm just gonna do it in 1 batch. It should be totally fine. They're gonna come out great. We're gonna cook these anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes. You're gonna see this really beautiful green color come out. And really all along the way, what I'm doing is I'm taste testing these to see when they're just a little bit al dente, and then I take them off. So as I'm cooking these green beans, I'd really love to hear from you guys. Do you really like when I do side dish recipes? I feel like I don't do a lot of side dishes on my YouTube channel, and I'm just curious if you guys would like me to do more, or would you prefer me to stick to more of the entrees and maybe the occasional dessert? Would you please let me know in the comments below? These green beans have been cooking for just about 3 to 4 minutes, so probably about halfway through the total cooking time. And I just want to show you guys a couple things here. These shallots, even though they started as these nice thin pieces, they've really become these long strands, which is totally fine. We want them to fall apart and cook really beautifully in the pan. So one thing you should be looking out for, if you have too high of a heat, you might just start to burn your shallots. So just make sure the shallots aren't burning. If they're starting to cook a little bit too fast, starting to burn a little bit, just turn your heat down. All right, guys, so these green beans are looking absolutely beautiful. They're totally done. It's been about 7 or 8 minutes. These green beans are a little bit wilted, but still you can tell they're very crispy, and I cannot wait to give them a try. But before I do, if you love this recipe and you wanna see more just like it, check out my healthy recipes playlist. Okay, let's give them a try. To finish off these green beans, if you love a little bit of heat, I suggest use a little bit of red pepper flakes. Just sprinkle a tiny bit right on top, and there we go. These look so delicious. These crispy shallot green beans come out so incredibly delicious. They have the perfect amount of that shallot flavor mixed with that grated garlic. These are so delicious. They are literally the perfect side dish. I hope you guys give these a try. I'll see you in the next video.